All right, well, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Brian Brettschneider. I am a seasonal forecaster with the National Weather Service Alaska region. And today we're going to introduce a new segment called the Alaska Extended Outlook. Now, you've seen some of these maps before at other times, but you may not know what all goes into making these. And so I'm going to walk you through some of them and kind of how we put them together and what they show for the next couple of weeks and even the next couple of months. All right, so we're going to start with our favorite Climate Prediction Center 8 to 14 day outlook. Now we get temperatures and precipitation from the Climate Prediction Center. And every day of the week, there's a meeting. There's a call that we have with the Climate Prediction Center. And we work with them to put this forecast together for Alaska. So this is not some kind of nameless computer in DC that's putting this together. We here in Alaska have input, and we guide the process and make sure that they understand what we're seeing and that they incorporate that, and then they put these together. So days 8 to 14. So we're talking the July 26th to August 1st period, the very end of July. And if you're a fan of the blue, we've got, I'm still practicing this, we got blue from the northeast part of the state, really down to Fairbanks, and then all through southeast. So Yakutat, Sitka, Juneau, Ketchikan, looking to be a little bit below normal, and then a very slight tilt of above normal, say from Anchorage to Kotzebue, and then all points southwestward. So on balance, a little bit cooler than normal, but not excessively so. Now, precipitation-wise, this is a little different than what we've seen for the last number of months, right? We've had, if you've been paying attention, these are all covered in green for basically since the 1st of March. And so this is a little bit of a different flavor. The flow is a little bit different, and we're going to have a little bit of a drier signal in the northern part of the state, and then continued wet. Well, actually, at the current time, we're looking dry in southeast, but it looks like we're going to go into a wetter period in southeast for this week 2 period. Now, for the monthly, on the 3rd Thursday of each month, we get the monthly outlook from the Climate Prediction Center. And again, we sit on the calls and we provide context for what these are going to look like. And as you can see here, there's a slight tilt toward above normal temperatures for the eastern half of the state and near normal for the western half of the state. Now, one thing you really can't see, is here in western Alaska, say from Kotzebue down to Bethel, we're actually forecasting near normal, which is pretty unusual. Normally, we say there's above normal, below normal, or an equal chance of above or below. But we don't really see that there's going to be a chance of below normal. So really now we call this now a 2-category forecast. So we're kind of between either near normal or above normal, and what's looked like is going to be above normal. And so again, in southeast, got to figure out how to do this, really above normal. But this is the first shade of orange, right? So it's not that strong of a signal. So really, in most places, it could go either way. Now, keep in mind, now we're talking August. So August is typically, across most of the interior, the 3rd warmest month of the year, right? So we're on the August, and we're talking the tail end of summer. Now, down here in Anchorage, southern mainland, it's the 2nd warmest month of the year. And once we get down to southeast, August is actually, more times than not, is the warmest month of the year. So that little bit of above normal warm signal for southeast Alaska, again, remember, this is the warmest time of the year. Now, for precipitation, this is for the entire month. There is a signal for wet in the central part of the state, from Bethel all the way over through most of the central interior between the Alaska Range and the Brooks Range. And we got a little bit of an enhanced signal of above normal. So, August is a wet time of year. In fact, in all these areas that are in blue, August is the wettest month of the year. The dark blue. It's the wettest month of the year. These lighter blues, August is the second wettest month of the year. Now, down in Southeast, your wettest time of the year is typically later in the fall, not the summer. So we got a couple of months to go toward the really peak of the wet season, but that is trending in that direction climatologically. And then finally, for our seasonal outlook, so this is going to be for the the August through October time period. Really, all the state is shaded in some shade of orange, whether it's that kind of first tier of orange for most of the mainland. But as we head down into Southeast, we're looking at a 40 to 50% chance of being above normal. That also means a 33% chance of below normal, and it means a 17 to 24% chance that it still could be below normal. So really, with these outlooks, for the most part, all scenarios are on the table, but the warm scenario is the favored scenario. And for precipitation, for the season, fall, all the guidance, all the long-term models, they're showing wet. So if you like rain in your fall, you are in luck. It looks like we're going to have yet another wet fall. In Southeast, it's probably going to be wet. I'm sure it's going to be wet, but not wetter than normal is what we're thinking right now. Now, a big driver in our seasonal outlooks, particularly as we head toward the fall and really into the winter months, is are we going to be in a El Nino or a La Nina? And right now, I can find out how to point to this. We're in an INSO neutral, what we call INSO neutral. And there's only a very small chance that we could transition to a La Nina right away. But as we head through the fall and into the winter, our La Nina chances really approach 50%. So we're not exactly technically forecasting a La Nina, but right on the cusp. But don't be surprised if those little blue bars get longer when we revisit this in a month. So El Nino, the red, is really not likely at all. It's really, are we going to be we're going to be La Nina, or we're going to be nothing or neutral. So keep an eye on that. And then this is what we call our forecast plume, where all these different models, we look at them all together and we see, are some of them doing this or some of them doing that? And in general, they're showing these tropical Pacific sea surface temperatures, which is where we monitor for El Nino, La Nina. It's showing those as being a little bit cooler than normal, but not a lot. Now, again, these are subject to change. Sometimes this time of the year, they don't really have a good handle on it. Sometimes they do, so something to keep an eye on. But of all the things that we look at as far as predictability going into the fall and into the winter, this represents about 25% of that predictability. So it may not sound like a lot, but it's really more than just about anything else. So it's what we got. So that's pretty much what I have for today. So I appreciate you listening in and following along on our extended outlook, and I hope to do more of these in the future. Thank you.